back with another episode with my man, Phil Bohol. Long story short, we were actually in the same unit, 223 Echo in San Bruno together. He was one of the best Marines that I met there, and I was the corpsman. We go a little bit back, and then we reconnected together recently at West Wasson Mansion Mastermind 8. So this is definitely
Small world.
small world, man. So small world. You really cannot fuck over a lot of people until they catch up to it, right?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah, man. So this is Phil Bohol. He is a mindset, confidence, and business coach right now. And yeah, dude, I have not seen you in so long. The last time I met you, you were a Marine.
Yep, that is true. That is true.
So yeah, so tell the audience. I know how amazing you are, but let's tell the audience how, where you're from, and like how'd you get started, and yeah, dude, with the Marines, your career, like where you at?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me here, first and foremost. But the story really started from the Philippines. That's where I was born. My father brought us here in the 90s. And we started off like really humble beginnings. We didn't really, have much, need much. The United States was a lot more than whatever you'd get in the Philippines. So, it was just a blessing overall. We went from Arizona, moved over to California, probably closer to the Oakland area. That's where I was raised. San Lorenzo, San Leandro, if you've ever heard of it. And around 10 years old, our family actually ended up parting ways. We split up. Parents went through a really messy divorce, all of that good stuff. And I went on a very dark path. In 10 years old till about 17 years old, I did everything. I literally started my own online company at 13 years old.
Oh, shit.
I made $5,000 cash as a 13-year-old.
Damn.
Bought my first BMW 1993 325i black cash. And I couldn't even drive it when I bought it. But I had to figure out a way to make money because, my father, he was dealing a lot with the lawyer fees, the divorce, all of that. Obviously, my mother was dealing with the same thing. So I wanted to find a way to like contribute to the family, give us lunch money, different things like that. And that's where kind of like this whole entrepreneurial thing started. And the only reason I even got interested in that was from what I learned from MySpace, believe it or not. The coding, it was all interesting, It's like, oh, coding, oh, change the letters here. Here's your top 5, all of that stuff. So anyway, I built that, and then I didn't really understand what it was, but what it did teach me was like what value was to people. So the guy that I sold a little virtual, it was like a defense toy, right? So it's like this game. I'm not gonna fucking name the names, but it's like you get a weapon, and this little weapon was worth $5,000 to him. And I asked him, well, why would you pay me $5,000 for like this virtual video game thing? And he said it's kind of like driving a Ferrari. Nobody has it except maybe 5 people in the entire game, which is like a global game.
Yeah.
So for me to have one, it's kind of like driving around in a Ferrari. And in my mind, I was like, that kind of doesn't make any sense because it's still a video game. But what it clicked for me was that's what value is. It doesn't matter about money. It matters what you deem as valuable, what makes you feel good. And that thing made him feel good enough to send a fucking kid $5,000. And so that's when I started understanding that the game of making money is all about value. So then I started getting into like the bad stuff, okay? So this is when I started drinking. This is when I started smoking weed. This is when I started popping pills. I wasn't even 18 at the time. And then I got to slanging. So I started slanging to make a living because you got to do what you got to do. You got to be able to provide.
Yeah.
And I learned business in a sense. I always kept it low key. I wasn't doing anything stupid, not doing anything like super crazy, just enough to get by, again, buy lunch and all of that good stuff. But I also knew I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Everybody I hung around with was about 10 years older than me. Even a girlfriend at a time was like fucking 7, 8 years older than me at the time. And that was the crowd I was hanging out with. I was going to Vegas. I was getting plastered drunk. And like, bro, I wasn't even 18 years old. And I knew that I was becoming like the worst type of human.
Oh.
My little sister told me that she was like disgusted by who she saw me turning into. That's when I decided to join the Marine Corps. I knew that I was already on a dark path. Like I would try to get into fights with everybody. I would find every reason to get into a fight. I'd be hanging around people with like guns, violence, like just all the dumb shit just to try to die myself. That's where I was. So I was like, I might as well die for a good cause. I might as well do something meaningful with my life if I'm going to die anyway. That's why I joined the Marine Corps. Out of anything in the Marine Corps, I wanted to become a machine gunner. Reason why I wanted to become a machine gunner was because I saw this like picture of 4 gunners, and they were just walking in a straight line. They just had a 240 Bravo on their back, and they were literally walking as if it was nothing.
Yeah.
And bro, when I saw that, it really sold me. Cause I was like, those are some strong motherfuckers, you know? Like, damn, I wanna look that clean when I'm carrying that much weight.
Yeah.
And becoming a machine gunner was hard, bro. Like I got all types of fucked up. My back, I still have the scars on my back because basically like my back had a baby. Like it would look pregnant because of like the flak jacket was scrubbing across my back when I was trying to earn my title as a machine gunner.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where they were like, hey, we can either drop you for medical or you can keep pushing through the pain.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I don't want to leave my fucking brothers that I'm suffering with, so I'm going to push through the pain, bro. And it was tough because you're carrying 240 Bravos, 50 cals, Mark 19s. Google how much these motherfuckers weigh.
Yeah.
And I was only 115 pounds at the time.
Oh, fuck.
But it was all a mental game to me, bro. It was like, who the fuck can I be?
Yeah.
Who can I become? And so, like, the military was always that for me. It taught me a lot about myself, who I thought I was. Like, back when I was, like, doing the drugs, drinking, all that, I thought I was a hard motherfucker.
Yeah.
But the Marine Corps taught me I was not. The Marine Corps taught me that I was actually a pussy.
Yeah.
Excuse my French. But what it did was it allowed me to forge myself into the real man that I could be. I started surrounding myself with seniors that bred me, and they're all types of seniors, right? If you remember Bayo, he was one of the hardest fucking seniors I've ever had. That dude didn't give a shit about me from the jump.
Yeah.
But he told me and he taught me and he bred me through his mentorship style. I learned from fucking Mason, Grossman, Wakefield, Johnson, all of those guys. And they all had different mentorship styles, and I would take a piece of that, and those pieces became who I am today.
Wow.
And so I really do owe them my life. They challenged me, like, completely. And that machine gun, that 240 Bravo, challenged me in the mind every time. Every time we're going up and down hills, anytime we're doing fucking live fires, anytime we're doing any of that, it was always like, it's so fucking uncomfortable, but, like, can you make it not anything to you in the mind? Can you make it not even matter to you? Can you continue to perform and be the best? And I remember my last day in the Marine Corps, because it was when you guys were about to head out to the UDP, right?
Yeah.
We had one more fucking field exercise, and there was a gunner there. So a gunner is a master of the infantry. They've mastered every single weapon system, and they're the most lethal motherfuckers that you could ever, like, be in front of. And I learned through the advanced machine gun leaders course, volleys, right? So this is where all the machine gunners basically shoot in unison in volleys. And I was like, if there's anything that I'm ever gonna fucking do before I get out, it's to, like, do this. So I commanded the entire machine gun section, and I bypassed all of my senior leadership, and I just commanded the whole fucking line. And it was a beautiful thing because, like, you could, it's not something that a normal corporal would do.
Yeah.
Like, you would normally, like, you would have to talk to a lot of people to be able to do shit like that. So I did it, and that's when I felt the most free. I didn't give a fuck about what my seniors thought about me. I didn't give a fuck if I fucked it up because I knew I wouldn't. And then for some reason, that same gunner, again, master infantryman, told my senior leadership that was like some savage shit. I found out that I got praised for doing something like that because he's never seen anybody do that. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so all I had to do was be me. All I had to do was believe in me. All I had to do was, like, get out of my head that, oh, well, my seniors don't do shit like this, so why should I be able to? And I just said, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I remember that moment because I still hold on to that moment. Yeah. It teaches me now how to continue just being myself and then believing that I am who the fuck I say I am. And I got out just because, like, my knees were all fucked up, so I rate 30% disability. And when I got out, I went to the corporate world, right? I'm just like, okay, cool, I'm just going to fucking be corporate, and that's my life. So I became a sales manager at a Fortune 500 company, crushed it with the store itself, and then that's where I actually met my wife. And then I got offered a position to be a business manager at a 7-figure company that was, like, rapidly scaling. They needed help growing to a second location, so I said, okay, let's do that. And so my wife got promoted at a Fortune 500. I got promoted over here, and we're going to live the corporate fucking life, Total income would probably be around $150,000. And we're like, this is amazing. This is better than the Philippines because that's where we both come from, so let's settle. And then we basically got hit with the pandemic. And the beautiful part about the pandemic is it brought so many blessings in disguise. Right before that hit, we actually got hit on the freeway. My wife and I, we were celebrating that like we were moving up in our lives. This is going to be the life that we're going to grow into our 50s, 60s, 70s. This is it for us. Like we've hit the jackpot. And there was some lady that was texting and driving from the fast lane, and we were just going 65 miles an hour. We were having fun. We were talking about our futures, and we just got smacked right here. And our car just started flipping over, right? And it was just so rapid that I didn't even know what was going on. And that hit me directly in my left side. I still feel all of the pain. Like I have so much nerve damage, tissue damage, all of that. My hips are still all types of jacked up. For a year, my feet were about an inch different in height because my hip was up so much from how intense it got that my muscles basically stayed like this. Wow. So it pulled up my hip and I was like walking all jacked up for a year, right? Damn. And so I'm thinking in my head, like, why the fuck did this happen to me? Why did this happen to us on the best times? On the times where we finally said we've made it in life. That's when we decided to have our daughter. We said life is too short. We've only been dating for about maybe 3 months, 4 months at this point, by the way. But we decided like life is short. You know, like we both almost gave up on relationships. Yeah. But we found each other, and we called it some type of divine intervention. That's what we truly believe our union was, and so we decided to have a kid. So we got pregnant, right? We got pregnant. We're leading into 2020, and when she's pregnant already, then I lose my job. Wow. The pandemic hits, I lose my job, and we have a baby on the way. So now we have one household income, and there's no way for me to ever find a job right now because everybody's losing their job. And now all of those people losing their job are fighting for the same job I'm about to fight for. Right. So I had a couple options. It's either I'm going to submit applications for places like McDonald's, or I'm going to find a different way. And that different way was going online. And it was the scariest thing, being a father, being in that accident, being a new husband. We had a Zoom fucking wedding online, okay? We had our guy fucking in Texas marry us. And like there was all these new things, and I was still a boy in my mind. Yeah. I was still that young kid that just like left the Marine Corps, did the corporate thing, but like spiritually I was still a boy. And for me to now be a dad, a husband, a provider, and now I have to plan in the midst of chaos in the world, I had to really rise to the occasion. I really did. And so I chose to go the hard path and go online, because there's no way that we went through everything we've ever been through in our life just for me to work at fucking McDonald's, make minimum wage, and then project a shitty lifestyle for my children. I was not going to do that because as a child, I lost everything. So I wasn't going to start my daughter off with nothing. I wasn't going to do that to her. So I took the burden of being the man I really needed to be for my family and made absolutely no excuses. 90 days later, online space, no social presence, no nothing. Nobody knew who the fuck Phil Bohol was. I started making $15,000 per month. Wow. And nobody knew how to do that. There was people in the online industry for years who didn't even understand how to make $1. So how did somebody like me that came from nothing, literally no social or online presence, start making $15,000 per month? I took what I learned from that 10 years old to 17, 18 years old, all of that darkness, all of that fuel. When I sold for the first time at $5,000, I took all of that experience and I took who I became and who I forged in the Marine Corps, the discipline, the mindset, the routines, the structure, all of it. The gunner that was forged there, I brought that into my work ethic. And all I did was I out-hustled the world. While the rest of the world was afraid of the chaos, I knew that I needed to maximize on the time because time was ticking. My daughter was going to be born. There's nothing going to stop her from being born. I'm going to have to provide. And that's how I started making my money. At some point, people started asking me, well, Phil, how are you making so much money online? Can you coach me? I didn't really want to do that because I had this weird imposter syndrome. I had a Marine that took his own life, my best friend's little brother. And I found out that I was basically the guy. I was the mentor. I was the person he wanted to become. And I didn't know this. I trained him. I brought him up. He's the reason why, I'm the reason why he enlisted. I was literally his recruiter because I was on recruiting duty. Yeah. And fucking this was that same kid that I saw growing up. And I didn't see the signs, and I didn't see like what was going on with him, and I didn't ever reach out. And in the military, you're always taught to look out for your Marines and their welfare. And it was like the one thing that it's literally our job in leadership. If you're a leader in the military, that is literally the one thing you do. You protect your people. So you can imagine what happens when something like that, we have a loss in the family, and now people are asking you to coach them to change their life. How much friction I had internally of, I want to help, I want to serve more people, but I genuinely didn't believe that I deserved or I rated to do that. And it took a lot of inner work. I'm at this point $700,000 invested into my personal development because of shit like that.
Wow.
But it allowed me to start my confidence coaching program. I started that with no social proof. I was charging twice as much as any guru that was out there because I knew even if I charged more, I would give more premium service, more premium coaching. I built that to 7 figures. That was my first million. That's why I bought this Rolex. When I hit $1 million before I hit fucking 30 years old, I said I'm gonna buy myself the Rolex. That was the one thing. I was always wearing socks with holes in them. I haven't changed my clothes in years. I was wearing some of the same shit I was wearing fucking in the military even. Like I never thought to buy things for myself, but I told myself a target. I said I was gonna do it and I did it. That's what I teach people, to be men of their words. So after that business got to 7 figures, I started a sales agency. I built that to 1.2 million in 2 weeks. Brand spanking new company, just hit the ground running. At this point, I started my third company, the Underdog Uprising Mastermind, and that already has done about $300,000 in cash in the first 3 months that it's been live.
Wow.
It's already on track to be a 1.2 million company, and we're just crushing it. Our clients are crushing it. We have people doing $140,000 in 90 days. We have people doing 8,000 brand spanking new offer in 2 days. I have a new coach that just landed a $4,000 paid in full client, and he's just only been running content for 6 days. You know, I have all these people winning 28,000, 16,000 here and there, and I get to pour in and mentor and guide and be the person I couldn't be for Tommy.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so passionate about like coaching people and helping people, because now we get to do cool shit like this, man. Like we get to hang out, we get to talk about our experiences, but now I can really pass the torch of knowledge and I can actually give a fuck, because there's a lot of people in the online coaching industry, and you know who the fuck you are, who don't actually care about your people. You care about your money, but you don't care about your people. My tribe, my people, know I will fucking take a bullet for them. And that's how I do business. So long story short, that's where I'm at, bro. I'm just on a mission right now to just help more people, help more fucking people, bro. The more leaders that I build in this life, the more lives I can change. If I couldn't save one life, I'll save all the lives I can now who are gonna be leaders in their sectors, in their industries, who will continue to change lives.
Wow. Like, this guy's the real deal. Like, literally, me hanging out with him last month, I had like the biggest month I ever had. You know, a lot of bookings, a lot of pay in full deals. Like the thing you told me, it's like get them pay in full. You know, like get them committed, right? Because before I was getting deals, but like people were not committed, they didn't pay, and when they didn't pay, they didn't like really deliver good, you know, content, and you know nobody's like happy at the end.
Yep.
We like get them to pay up front, get them committed on their project, and then boom, it works a lot better for me. And like, you know, I close bigger ticket deals now.
Yep, 100%.
And like, just being around amazing people like this, that really pushes you.
Yeah.
Like he literally like texts us, me and like my other friends who are in our little motivational group chat. He was like, "Yeah, dude, I just made like 30K in the last 2 days." I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I think it's like 40 now.
I was like, "Oh fuck," you know. So I was like, "Damn, man."
Yeah.
See, but like when you're around people like this, like at super elevated, you're just like, "Holy shit!" Like I can't do small deals anymore. It just feels like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
When you're around people that do the big deals, you're just like, damn. If I want to hang around them, I gotta do big deals too, or else I'll just kick myself out.
Yeah, and you got to remember, like when it comes to like the money, like the big deals are cool, but the impact, man. Like I got clients that tell me like they were in really dark places before they met me, and when I hear that, I'm like, well, thank God that I made you commit with the money. Like I got clients paying me $100,000 cash. I got clients paying me $50,000 cash. I got clients paying me $5,000 cash. It doesn't matter at what level you plug in with me at. It just matters that you plug in. Because for me, like, yeah, I make a lot of fucking money. That's all good. But like, your life is worth more than any amount of money that you pay me.
Yeah.
And part of that, like, understanding is you finally investing into yourself, investing into your business, investing into your vision, just like I did. I'm over $700,000. I practice what I preach.
Yeah.
And that's what changed my life.
Holy
So now all of this like energy that I'm giving to people is because I found all of the gaps, all of the bullshit, because not all of that returned a ROI.
Yeah.
Some of that was into $50,000, $75,000 masterminds of like what a tribe and a community was going to give you, and it wasn't shit, bro. So how I run my business now is to give everybody what was failed to give to them by all of these other communities, coaches, internet marketers, all of that shit, bro. Like I'm doing it different
Damn.
because I want everybody that ever says my name to always say that he was who the fuck he says he was. And that's how I live. That's when I wake up every single day and I'm like, all right, are you that motherfucker today? And every day I prove to myself, I am that motherfucker. That's it.
Wow. Dude, that's a banger, bro. When you say that and you look at the camera too, I was like, damn, he knows what he do. He's dropping the bubbles. All right, so this is on the podcast. I always ask genuine questions, like questions that I struggle with, and it relates to the audience because, dude, there's so many people watching. I'm sure somebody's gonna pick it up, right? So like for me now, hanging out with you guys, I was making 5 to 10K a month. Now I'm at like closer to 50. Like what the hell, Like the amount of workload, it's like 10 times more. Like I'm literally flying out back to back to back to back.
Yep.
And I still do my content every week. I still do my weekly run, hosting with other people coming. So that's like really draining. So
Yep.
like, what is one advice you would give now for me? Like, you got all these guys too, not just me,
Yep.
that goes from, making like a normal person wage to like crazy wage. Like, what's your advice to like maintain this momentum? Because I do like to keep this going.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So the biggest difference between, making $10,000 per month and making $50,000 per month is really learning the patterns in your own personal operating system, but like also in your business, right? Like you want to make sure that you look at, okay, how are my energy levels every day, every week, every month? So like last month, you want to take an audit of like your personal operating system. Because that way like if I were to add on anything else, I would probably break.
Yeah.
You need to know that personally,
Yeah.
right? And there's nothing wrong with that because just like working out at the gym, you just have to get your body, mind, and spirit used to it. The other thing you have to ask yourself is, how do I start making myself scalable? How do I buy back more of that time? Because I make $50,000 and I'm like, it's just a regular day.
Yeah.
But it's because I've built systems, I've built operations, I've built fulfillment that does all of that. So like, for example, I made like, what was it? The 30,000 or 35, whatever last night.
Yeah.
I was watching a movie with my daughter and my wife.
Yeah.
But it's because the moment somebody pays that invoice,
Yeah.
they go through an entire onboarding procedure that's automated. So everything's fulfilled. So like literally somebody could invest right fucking now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even need to be part of that entire process. So by the time Monday hits, they already got to work. And I didn't even have to do anything. So you got to kind of ask yourself, based on all of these clients I've onboarded, what are some repetitive tasks, repetitive things, like information maybe, flights, itineraries, scheduling, expectations, what the deliverables are, what's information you keep repeating and repeating and repeating that's like, you can kind of like SOP that, And if you do that, what's going to happen is it's going to help you with the level of overwhelm that you're experiencing right now. So that way, as you lead into this new month, you can still focus on sales and marketing, shaking more hands, talking to more people, because now your operations handle the actual time guzzlers, right? Because all of your time is going into not only just the traveling and the shooting, right? Because that's your genius, but it's admin, it's operations, it's invoicing, it's scheduling, it's getting people files. So it's like, how do I automate things like that? What system do I need to create by the number that can help me automate all of that fulfillment so I can focus more time on my genius? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. 'Cause, I think that's important because that's where I need it this time,
Yeah.
I'm already like outsourcing a lot of the edits out.
Yeah.
So I used to do it too.
Yeah.
But it's just like for every 1 minute of content, that's like minimum of 1 hour to 5 hours of editing. Or
So-
even more.
So the best way to think about that too is like, you know, in entrepreneurship, we're not designed to like be the person that does everything all the time forever. You know what I mean? You have to be able to ask yourself, who can get this task done 80% to completion, and you just handle the last 20%. You know, the 80-20 rule,
Yeah.
right? So if it takes you an hour, is there somebody you can pay that can get the hour done, and then you're just like, okay, let me review it. Let me just see like if it's the quality, if there's any changes that need to be made. And instead of like you having to do the task and the hustle,
Yeah.
now it's just checking things off. Yeah, it's good. No, that's not good. Change this, change that. And now you basically become the manipulator of everything. You manipulate the battlefield, bro.
Okay.
That's all you got to do. And what happens is when you start elevating a $50,000-$100,000 months, your level of leadership will show.
Yeah.
Because your ability to lead, delegate, systematize, all of that, it's gonna fall on you. So your focus goes from hustle, create, do all the things to how can I lead my team to fulfill all this for me.
Right.
So like for me, whenever I like pour into my teams, bro, my teams operate on their own. I pour so much into them that they know what my expectations are. They know what I want them to do, what completion looks like, what I would actually approve and what I wouldn't. I let them know when they need to ask me questions. I've built out every single possible procedure, just like the military, bro.
Yeah.
Right? So like as a corpsman, there's a specific sequence of events that must happen for you to do the thing.
Right.
Right? Even with a silver bullet. There's a thing you got to do, right? There's a thing
put the
you have to
condom
do.
on.
Yeah. There's so many things you have to do. So it's like, are you implementing what you've learned through sequencing in the military to your business?
Right.
So that's where I take all like the machine gun leadership, the Marine Corps leadership, all of that, and I ask what things can I replicate from like the military in a standard operating procedure? Like how do I replicate all of those systems? Because even though it's like tough to be in the military is so standardized that you can actually like put a civilian into boot camp and spit out a Marine. You can put a civilian into boot camp, you can spit out somebody in the Navy, like any branch. But it's like they go through a very specific process. So do you have that for your people? Do you have that for the editors? Do you have that for the videographers? Do you have that for you? Does everybody know how they need to operate to win? That's going to be the biggest thing that's going to save you time, bro. And the beautiful part about it, you can bust it out in a week. If you just took like a day, like let's say a Saturday, and you just like big ass fucking table,
Lay
you
it
start
out.
battle planning everything. Okay, sequence. The moment we land a client, this is the next thing that happens. Once we have all this information, we need to branch out, get these two things. Okay, what's the next sequence? And you visually see the entire sequence and you ask yourself, who in my company, who in my team can now take ownership of this that can at least get to 80% completion? If you do that, now your business can operate the same exact way. Your quality may diminish slightly, which is the cost of business, right? Like it's just gonna happen, it's human error. You have to learn that that's normal, right? And then now you can still produce at $50,000 per month, but now you're getting your time back.
Right.
That's gonna be the business, because your genius, bro, is not like how you capture shit. Your genius is not the things and the actions that you take. Do you know what your genius is?
What is it?
It's your mind. It's how you perceive reality. That's why people pay me a lot of money. It has less to do with how I work for them, and it's more so how I think for them. Because you see a vision. You're like, okay, if we had these reels, if we had this video production, if we had all of this, your mind works like that. Nobody else in your team's mind works like that.
Right.
Even if you think they do.
Yeah,
they don't.
No, that's you're so right.
Yeah, because if they did, they'd be you.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're not.
No, that's so right. Even like with the editors I'm working on or some of the people I'm working on, like literally I feel like I have to hold their hand for them to do their craft. And like I'm not even like I would say a real videographer, photographer. I just came in a couple months and I dominated everybody because they're just slacking.
Yep, exactly, bro. Remember I told you that 90 days for me to start making 15,000?
Yeah.
Same thing. Like I wasn't the best fucking closer. I wasn't the best person on camera. I wasn't the best person at any of that stuff. It's just I would out hustle you.
Yeah.
I just didn't care. So then you just got to ask yourself, like, if I have to also spend time hand holding my team, what processes, procedures have I not provided to them where they can be proficient enough? Right. So again, you go back to your military training. It's like we do that with our juniors. It's the same thing.
Right.
If it's taking forever for them to catch up on the knowledge, the experience, the wisdom that they need to properly operate a 240 Bravo, what is missing in my leadership to help them be successful? So what happens is when you start elevating in how much money you make on a monthly basis, you have to stop being the hustler and you need to spend more time in reflection and genius, bro. You have to spend time in reflection and genius because, again, that's what you get paid big dollars for. It's not about how much like time you're spending, 8 hours here, 8 hours there, 9 hours, 12 hours, 16-hour shifts. That's not what you're getting paid for, bro. My $100,000 clients, my $50,000 clients, I talk to them like 4 times a month for like 5 minutes maybe. It's not really a big deal because they're not paying for my time. They're paying for the result that I get them.
Wow.
The same thing applies to like your team. You need to be able to like help them get to that result without taking your time. That's how you make yourself scalable as a leader. So that way you can still close those bigger deals, right? Because then you can charge higher ticket. Then you can
Yeah.
probably double your revenues without actually taking on more work.
No, that's damn. That's banger. This is not. Like, I went from a hustler by myself to having like to have put people on projects to fulfill.
Exactly.
like
So
a-
now you have to like glue it all together,
Yeah.
right? Because now you have them hustling,
Yeah.
and now you have to get them streamlined. So they're communicating with each other. They're working, operating as a team, just like in the military, bro.
Damn, it's crazy. It's crazy how like things can change anytime.
Yep. And you just got to be prepared for it, right? So that's all it is. And it's now the question was, how do you continue the momentum? It's pushing harder now.
Yeah.
When you start winning, when you go from $10,000 to $50,000 in a month,
Yeah.
you don't slow down. You don't play it safe.
Yeah.
You don't do any of that. You push even harder because now what you're gonna do is you're gonna have your breakthrough.
Ooh.
Most people think that a breakthrough happens at like right now. Like I'm just gonna sit here and boom, breakthrough. The breakthrough actually happens when you're like the most exhausted. You have no more in the tank. You think that you're done, and you still continue to push yourself past your limit. That is how you now achieve a new limit. Most people stop and they're like, I need to rest, I need to recover, I need to do all of this. But your breakthrough was fucking right there. But you wasted it. And that's what most people do. I break through every time I fucking send it. That's why I always say send it, because I'm fucking sending it, because every time I'm shattering and I'm breaking through my limits, and that's how I always achieve quantum leaps and breakthroughs.
That is so crazy. Yeah, man. Just getting around amazing people like this that are doing big numbers. Just my perspective changed. Like, holy shit, I was wasting a lot of time with a lot of clients that are very low value. Like, I feel like it's like a net loss to deal with them. And like when you deal with a client, you also take on their energy. And if they're fully negative, it's like you're putting negative energy on you.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, I fired clients that were contracted with me for $180,000.
Wow.
And I decided that the energy exchange just wasn't worth it. And I said, we're fucking done. Like, we're just fucking done. Like, the contract's not worth my energy.
Yeah.
Because if they're time, consumers, and they just bring your energy down, you have to always remember. Like, people would think like, oh, I have a $10,000 client, $50,000 client, $100,000 client. I don't want to lose the client.
Yeah.
But it's like, you do realize you're like missing out on millions over here. You do realize that like you have a whole ass business over here that you could flood with awesome clients that are awesome to work with. So even if you lose 100,000 over here, you're gonna make $1 million over here, and you're gonna have a business that you actually love showing up for.
And this is like crazy because I'm actually seeing it in real time. And like the people I work with now, like I love them. They're like, they built themselves up to so high that when we shoot content for them, it's so much easier.
Yep.
Than someone that's like more cheap or I would say at the beginning, but their heart's not in it. So hard to make them look good on camera because like you can only polish them so much, right? But a piece of shit's still a piece of shit.
Yep, 100%.
You know? So it's
100%.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then when they pay a higher ticket, that's how you know they're actually invested into themselves. Like, I get the whole, like, I want to charge less because of blah, blah, blah. But you have to realize that if you're going to deliver your time and quality to a client, you have to charge them a premium so they actually get the maximum result with you. If you charge less, even though you work with more people, you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're not going to like performing. That energy is going to go with them, or you're probably going to have the wrong client. It's going to be shit production anyway. So you might as well go higher ticket with the people that are like, I don't give a fuck how much it costs. I want to work with you. I love your energy. I want you to extract my genius. I want you to make me look good so I can share my fucking story. You want that fucking person.
Right.
And those people are willing to pay higher ticket. I am one. Yeah. So like, I know. And we just move fast. That's just what it is.
Yeah, dude. That's how the airplanes stay in the sky, man. Momentum. Like you guys, you, Garrett, and all the other gentlemen we met at Mastermind 8, you guys just fly high, move fast. So before we close, what is your next big move?
Yeah, I would say right now my biggest focus, I have my sales agency we're building a software for right now. It's already launched. I have my Underdog Uprising Mastermind. That's like my heart right now. That's like my tribe. That's my people. Anybody that's trying to take their expertise online, I just want to mentor them. I just want to give them all the guidance and counsel that they could possibly need without it being in this weird internet marketing fucking package, and like really be there for my people, help them become the leaders in their lives and their families, and then help them crush it, and then do fucking deals, right? Fucking do awesome deals, collaborate with awesome people like Zune, like fucking all of it.
Yeah.
I just want to do it all right now. I'm in the process of just like putting so much weight on my shoulders because I have my second daughter en route to be born. And I just want to keep showing people that no matter what's happening in your personal life, you can do more than your mind allows you to think right now. If you just allow yourself to submit to the process and understand there's a sage version of you in there. There's a more savage version of you already lying dormant inside of you at every fucking level. You just have to unlock it. Every time I push myself to find who the fuck that is. And that's why I'm on this mission to change the trajectory of my bloodline, because I'm going to show the world what the fuck one person can do when they believe enough and they fucking have the discipline to show up every single day, especially when they don't want to, and what's fucking possible. And so my daughters will know that's their father. My people will know that's fucking Phil Bohol right there. That's the guy that fucking sent it. He said he would, and he did. So that's the path that I'm on.
That's crazy, man. And before we close, I just want to ask you one last question. So let's put you in somebody else's shoes today. Either they just went through a bankruptcy, or they're starting a new business, they're starting from scratch, right? What are 3 advice you would give them that would take them to the next level faster and compress their timeline?
Yeah, so first and foremost, if you go through something like a bankruptcy or you lose everything and you got to start from scratch, I think acceptance of what's happened is the first step, because most people, what they do is they'll sit in that.
Yeah.
They'll be in the guilt, they'll be in the shame for so long that it clouds their judgment to be able to make any type of play.
Yeah.
So anytime something bad has happened in my life, I've literally got it all tattooed on my fucking body. This is all historical pieces of my life. I can tell you a story about every fucking piece of my life, and like it's a whole thing, right? But until I accepted and I had acceptance for my situation where I was, and that life wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me, that's when I allowed myself the space and room to accept all the answers life, God, the universe needed to give me to make that next step. So acceptance is key to be able to like really not hold on to whatever it is that you just lost, and give yourself some grace. You're human, shit happened, it's gonna happen. It's always gonna happen, and that's all right. Once you accept exactly where you're at in life, whatever loss you've taken, the next thing is really chucking it all the way into the future.
Okay.
You need to understand what you're building. So what I tell my clients is, imagine setting a GPS. We've accepted we're here in California.
Yeah.
I now need to set a GPS to like where we're gonna get to. And most people, what they'll do is, if I say California to New York, in the GPS they'll put New York. That's not what I'm fucking saying. I'm saying I need a specific address to a specific house and a specific zip code, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna spit out a couple things. Depending on how fast you wanna get there, you can fly there. You can drive there.
Yeah.
You can take a bike, or you can walk. But if you don't know the exact destination, then you won't understand the timeline to be able to achieve those goals. That's where people get it fucked up. They will start to hustle without any idea where they're actually hustling towards. And that's why they'll go round and round and round. And for me, I set the GPS. I know exactly where the fuck I want to go, and then I just choose how fast.
Damn.
So when I talked about that 90 days, I said $15,000 before my daughter's born, and I fucking did it. But imagine if I said a lot of money. Where would I go?
Yeah.
That's what most people do. I want a lot of money. Okay, but like, how much money specifically? When do you want to make the money? Why do you want to make the money? You got to get crystal clear on all of that, because once you set the GPS, you start reverse engineering all the steps to get there in that timeline. The next thing is, I would genuinely say, if I was to start all over, if somebody went bankrupt, there's still a skill set that you have. There's something that you've built, whether it's personal or it's professional, right? So for me, I sold confidence. I was the most unconfident boy. I went into the Marine Corps very unconfident. I forged my confidence, and now that was a gift that changed my life, my entire operating system. So I gave that gift to the world. Wow. Everybody has something in their life that they have overcome that is a gift to them, that somebody else here on this planet has not been able to achieve. They have not been able to move through that lesson yet. And that's why they're looking for world changers like yourself to learn how to step into yourself and teach them the same path that you've been able to go through, crush, and accomplish. Take that gift, package it into a program, because now you can actually make a great fucking living changing people's lives. That is the fastest path back to your feet where you're purpose driven. You wake up with mission in your heart every single fucking day. You make a great fucking living so you can give back to your family, and now you have clients thanking you for changing their fucking life. That's the 3 fucking biggest things that I would recommend to anybody who's starting from zero, because if I start from zero, I'll make $100,000 in 30 days following that same fucking step and that formula, because I've done it 3 times.
Damn. Man, I appreciate you for your time. That was like a lot of bangers.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me, man.
Appreciate it, man. All right. Peace.